Hello and welcome back to Critter Valley Exotics. If you don't know me already, my name is Des. Specifically, we're going to talk about bearded dragon care and education on bearded dragons in general. Literally the best way I can explain this. Let's say you brought a new bearded dragon home. It's a baby. Let's start off there. Baby bearded dragons like this one require way different care than adults because they're babies. For some reason, a lot of people think it's okay to put baby bearded dragons in 10 gallons. They need at least a 20. Grasshopper. Anyway, I put my baby bearded dragons in a 40 gallon because they use up all that space. I'm not saying that's what's recommended. I say a 20 gallon is recommended for a baby or a juvenile, but you do have to upgrade, and that's where most people fail. Most people don't really upgrade their bearded dragon's enclosure size, and they just keep their 24-inch bearded dragon in a 20 gallon, and that's wrong. Next up is diet. That's a really important factor in keeping your bearded dragon alive. Again, baby bearded dragon care is different from adults, and that includes diet too. Baby bearded dragons require 80% insects and 20% greens. Meanwhile, adults, it's the opposite. They require 80% greens and 20% bugs. For their insects, you can choose a variety of different insects, like dubia roaches. That's one of the most popular, along with mealworms and superworms. However, the most popular is crickets, although they're not as healthy as like a dubia roach, but it suffices. And for greens, a lot of people make this big mistake of feeding them kale and lettuce. Greens means collard greens, mustard greens, dandelion greens. You can feed them fruits and vegetables too, but that should only be like 10% of the time. Bearded dragons get most of their water sources from their food. You can give them baths like once or twice a week. That really helps with their femoral pores too, which I'll get into that in a second. But the baths will really help them get hydrated. When they're drinking, do not touch them, because when they're drinking, let's say this for example, their water goes from their mouth to their throat to their stomach, and they stop breathing. So when you disturb that flow, it can cause the water to go from their mouth to their lungs, and that is not good because that means they drown. You can touch them afterwards, like let's say a minute later when they start moving around in the bathtub again. Next up is femoral pores. All bearded dragons have them, but males are quite large. However, some females can have really big femoral pores too, which kind of can make it hard to sex them. What I mean is like tell the gender. Bathing your bearded dragon can really help with femoral pore clogging, which is when the, how do I explain this? The oils from the male or female get clogged into those pores, causing like pimples. I don't really recommend squeezing them like a pimple, because that can hurt your bearded dragon, obviously. I recommend you take an old toothbrush and gently scrub them, and then you can squeeze a tiny bit, but not like full on like a pimple. But what I mean is like you can also take tweezers too. That's safest because you're not really squeezing and causing inflammation. However, this is not a video on how to remove femoral pores or how to sex them. Go watch other videos and do your own research on that. The best I can say is look at the femoral pores. That is the easiest way to tell, especially on young ones. And hemipenes. Males have hemipenes and females don't. Next up is temperature. For your bearded dragon's basking spot temperature, I would recommend 100 degrees to 108 degrees. Which means that your cool side of the tank should be 70 degrees to 85 degrees. And nighttime should be 60 degrees to 75. For bearded dragon humidity, I keep mine, and I recommend you keep yours too, at the lowest 30% and highest 55%. Really high humidity will cause respiratory issues. So they say that the recommended time you spend with your bearded dragon per day is 8 hours. A lot of people have to go to work, and a lot of people have children, so that is not always possible. So just spend as much as you can. Don't neglect them. Just spend as much as you can, okay? That covers pretty much everything today. So thank you for joining us today at Critter Valley Exotics. We hope you have a wonderful day. Give your bearded dragon some love for me, okay? And have a good day or night. Bye-bye.